Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. That's from a guy, I'm guessing he's probably at least in his 30s at this point, and he shares his story about events that happened a couple years ago with an ex-girlfriend. Actually, probably he wasn't even a girlfriend at the time, just some chick he was seeing. And long story short, she tried to come between him and his 9-year-old daughter. She tried to pee-whip him and get him to pretty much ask her permission to do this and that and see his daughter and all that. And let's just say it didn't end well for her. And that'll be a good one here to go over here, guys, just to show you how a man handles things and how this guy handles things like a boss. You can't, for you fathers out there, say you're a single dad, you were married, didn't work out, you have a daughter, you have a son, and you're dating, you're a relationship guy, you can't let your freaking girlfriend or a stepmother, whatever, come between you and your kids. Your kid, you come first, your kids come first, not her. And sadly, a lot of guys will let that happen. And a lot of these women will very quickly weasel their way in, just after a few months of dating, to try to take over. But not this guy. This guy handles it right. And let me tell you, she never saw it coming. She didn't expect this. And clearly, she's used to having a way with guys. So that'd be a very good one here to go over here, that you relationship guys, particularly you single dads out there, can learn from. And also, this just makes the point, the story, why ideally, if you're single, you should date other single people that don't have children. Because in this story, he's a single dad, and believe me, his daughter comes first before some chick he's dating. And so, just like I say, avoid the single MOMs for lots of reasons, because lots of them are wackos. There are a lot of good ones out there too. I know some that are good moms, but their kids are going to come first. And it's just easier just to date people that don't have kids, you know? Typically, the single MOMs and the single dads, they get together with other people that are single with kids because they get it, and just trust me on that. So it starts off, he says here, Dear SSM, I'm not sure if this story will play out on your channel, but here it is anyway. This happened a couple of years ago. I was dating this girl, let's call her Allie, and we were together for a few months. I have a daughter from my previous marriage. She was around 9 years old at the time, and I had met Allie and her family and friends, and they got along just fine. So I'm going to point out here, he says, dating. Not girlfriend, not serious relationship, dating. And only been a few months. Now watch how this chick behaves just with their few months of dating. Look how she feels entitled to call the shots. To give a quick backstory, during the school year, my daughter stays with her mom during the week and comes to my house on the weekends. In the summertime, we switch so she stays with me during the week. Back to the main story. Towards the end of the summer, my daughter was staying with me during the week. My doctor wanted me to do a sleep study at the hospital where I would stay the night and they would monitor me while I slept to see the severity of my sleep apnea. I made the appointment for Friday night so I could drop my daughter off at her mom's house and just head to the hospital afterwards. About a week before the appointment, I told Allie about it and told her I wouldn't be available to see her that Friday. Okay, he's making it clear that Friday night I will not be available. You understand this, Allie, a-hole Allie. She didn't have a problem with this. She just said okay and asked if she could see me the next day. The Monday before my appointment, I took my daughter to a trampoline park after I got done working. While there, I messaged my ex to tell her that I needed to drop my daughter off a little earlier than usual. My ex and her husband were planning on going out of town that weekend, but he didn't tell me. So, I ended up having to reschedule my appointment since my daughter was staying with me. While my daughter was jumping around, I was trying to come up with something to do on Friday now that I had to reschedule my appointment. Here we go with the sirens. It's been a while since the sirens. The trampoline park had posters up promoting a glow-in-the-dark jump party on Friday nights. After asking my daughter if she wanted to go, I bought the tickets. Okay, so he's going to have the daughter Friday night. He's skipping out in the hospital thing, and he's going to hang out with her and do this cool glow-in-the-dark trampoline thing. Okay, now watch this. Watch how this goes down with this girl he's dating. Not girlfriend, just dating. On the way home, Allie called me. I told her about my ex going out of town and how I had to reschedule my appointment. Then I told her I was taking my daughter back to the trampoline park on Friday night. After I told her, there was an immediate shift in her tone. She then gave me some lame excuse and got off the phone, and I could tell she was mad about something. Oh, poor baby not getting her way. Remember, guys, he said initially he wasn't going to see her Friday night anyway because of the hospital thing. Schedule changed. So again, he's going to spend that Friday night with the daughter. Nothing's changed. He wasn't going to see her anyway until the next day. But to no surprise, leave it to a gal who's obviously used to getting her way to create a bunch of fucking drama. So the next day, she sent me a good morning text, and I asked if she was mad the night before. I wouldn't have said that. The conversation went something like this. Me, were you mad last night? And she says, well, I just think it's a little messed up that you didn't think to consult me first. Consult you? We're dating a few months, which means I probably effed you probably 5 times. Maybe 6. Dating. You're not my girlfriend. Furthermore, I don't consult you on what I do with my daughter. He says to her, we were already at Sky Zone when I found out I was going to have to reschedule my appointment, and we saw the signs for Friday night. She says, I was just looking forward to seeing you on Friday. Hang on. He made it clear he wasn't going to be available on Friday, either because he was going to be at the hospital for his sleep apnea study, or now with the daughter. There was no them going out on Friday. She just assumed that if he didn't do that thing on Friday, he'd immediately go be with her. He says to her, no, you weren't. I wasn't going to see you because my appointment, you knew that. She says, yeah, but you said you were rescheduling it. He says to her, and then I immediately told you I was doing something with my daughter. There was no time for you to look forward to seeing me. And she says, I think it's messed up you didn't check with me first. How do you think it makes me feel when you make plans and don't think to ask me or check with me first? Bitch, we've been only dating a few months. Who do you think you are? I'm with my daughter. She comes first, not you. But you can tell, guys, this chick is obviously used to getting her way with guys and roping guys in, and she's trying to pee-whip this guy. Except it's not working. There's a reason this guy watches my channel, because he's not a type of guy that gets pee-whipped, right? But a lot of guys would have caved. They either would have pulled the I'm sorry crap with her, or would have checked in or something, and she doesn't like that. But we're not done. After that, I just stopped messaging her. Good for you. I knew I had to end the relationship. The next day I messaged her asking her if I could call her after work. I was just broken up with her by text. I told her that I don't want to be with someone who's going to get mad at me every time I want to hang out with my daughter. I don't want to have to worry about hurting your feelings every time I just want to hang out with her. She started the whole crying thing and said, I can change. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that, but I was done. No, she meant it exactly like that, except you called her on her bullshit, and she's not used to that. Dude, she would have been the classic wicked stepmother. You stayed with her. What she would have done is tried to, over time, forge a wedge between you and your daughter. And it wouldn't matter if you had a son either. It would have been the same thing, but probably more because of a girl. The old wicked stepmother thing. And made that you would see her less and less and less. And a lot of weak-ass, bitch-ass guys would fall for that and be too afraid to call her on her crap. That's what she would have done. And probably tried to get you to marry her and have a kid. And if you went that far, then she tried to make your daughter toast. That's what would happen. So good for you. One of our neighbors, later on, one of our neighbors invited me and my daughter to a small New Year's Eve party. I liked her neighbors and had nothing else planned, so I made sure it wouldn't be awkward for Allie if we went, and for the most part, it wasn't except for one part. We were all just sitting at the table playing cards, and one woman at the party was asking me why we broke up. She did that on purpose. Well, first of all, hang on here. You shouldn't have gone to that party. You said you had nothing else going on. I would rather stay at my house on New Year's Eve, hanging out with my daughter, playing Uno or Candyland or some game or something like that, watching a movie, than going to some party where your ex, who you recently broke up with, is there, and there'd be drama. So I wouldn't have done that. That was a boneheaded move, man. But anyhow, this woman asking you right there with her there why you broke up, this woman was just trying to create drama. Clearly. Allie tried saying it was just miscommunication. But I wasn't going to just sit back and let her paint a false narrative. I spoke up and said, no, it wasn't miscommunication. I made plans with my daughter, and you got mad because I didn't consult you first. The woman who asked tried to defend her and said, Allie just wanted you to check in with her first. It doesn't seem like too much to ask. $20 says that Allie put this woman up to asking this question to stir up a bunch of shit. Everyone's looking at me like I was the bad guy, and I should have made sure it was okay with Allie before making plans. Of course, because these are her neighbors. They know her. They're going to take her side. And I still think this was a setup. So I said to them, let me make something clear. I'm not asking anyone for permission to spend time with my daughter. Good for you, man. Your daughter comes first. Your happiness comes first. Not some broad you've been dating a few months. Or some broad that you've been dating for several years. I could tell afterwards I said that they understood where I was coming from. Well, they understood not to piss you off. I don't think they made the distinction that Allie was pretty much saying I needed her permission until I made that comment. I have not and will not get back with her. She still occasionally messages me and tries to invite me to things. See, they always come back, guys. She even tries to put the idea of us getting back together out there, but I'm not falling for that. Contrary to what people say, men are allowed and should have boundaries in a relationship. Well, that's my story. Feel free to use it if you like. Well, bro, that's good. Quick story, but all stories are useful, guys, or at least most stories are useful. Bottom line is this. Your kids come first before any freaking chick you meet, okay? And right there you can see, I'm sure every guy that knows somebody whose girlfriend or wife or whatever try to slither their way in and start taking over and taking control. No, you can't do that. Your kids are way too important. And your own happiness in life is too important here. And I guarantee you stayed with her, she would just create a bigger and bigger wedge between you and your daughter. And your daughter will appreciate that. So later on when your daughter is older, and maybe she asks, whatever happened to that Allie girl, tell her the truth. Tell her what she did. She tried to come between you and her. And make sure your daughter is aware that she doesn't pull that bullshit in the future with some guy that she likes. Okay? Otherwise, raise her in the way, brother, and I'm sure you will, because probably your daughter's about, 11 years old now, maybe 12. Make sure you raise her in a way that she's not like these harpies that we have in the world today. And I'm sure you will. Well aware of the way the girls are like today and the consequences to the actions. They behave like the way they do today. But I'm sure you will. All right, guys, that's it for today. It's a quick one, like I said, but it was a good one. Be sure to comment down below. Let us think about this. And, guys, of course, if you got a great story to share, definitely email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it. I definitely will when I get the chance. Short stories, long stories, questions, crazy stories, whatever. There's use for all of them. Because the more you send me, the more I can crank them out. And I'm cranking out 3 to 4 a day between all the channels. So I'm pretty fucking busy. So the more you send me makes my job easier. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.